When you see Auntie Shola Sobowale in a movie, then you know that the movie is about to be chaotic. That is what this movie is about. Our Excellency. When I saw the title, I was wondering, Our Excellency, did a woman become the governor or the president? I didn't understand it. But yeah, now let me give you the full gist. The movie centers on a governor, played by Yemi Sholade, who happens to be married to an insecure wife, a temperamental wife, a wife who there is nothing that doesn't get her up, like get her angry or like carries her BP beyond normal, and who other person can play the role better than Shola Shebowale. So we see that when the first scene was projected, we see Odunlade walking into his house, I presume, and he was trying to wrestle with some armed men that were masked, but eventually they overpowered him and killed him. And here comes Bimbo. How does Bimbo Ademoye enter this movie? I really didn't get it. But apparently, she was the girlfriend or the wife to be to Odunlade. In fact, she already saw herself as the wife. So, yeah, she was crying that somebody had killed her husband or husband to be, only for her to be arrested by the police. We see Shola and her husband, Yemi Sholade, sorry, they had just launched a new fabric factory that was going to make things easier for the people of the states instead of having to travel outside the country to get fabrics for their businesses. Yeah, here comes Bimbo at the station. She was arrested, and the officers put it to her that she was the one who killed Odunlade, and she was trying to make them understand that if she killed Odunlade, there was no way she would have been the same person to call them. They said, "Oh, people always play the victim card all the time," and eventually they find out that the people who played the innocent guy that claimed they were innocent, or the people who called the police, were actually the culprits. So they weren't going to believe that they would have to still investigate. Well, she claimed she called them. She was on a call with Odunlade, and she was at her store. He was at home. While she was still talking to him, she could see that he was speaking to somebody, but she couldn't detect whose voice it was. And she saw that he wasn't speaking to her again. She tried calling him back, he wasn't picking, and that was when she rushed over to the house, only to find out that he had been murdered and there was no way. And she also claimed that on her way to the house was when she had called the police because she felt there was a foul play. So there was no way in this life that she would have been the same person to murder her husband. The governor was informed about this because apparently Odunlade was working with the governor, was working closely with the governor. The governor was informed that he had been murdered, and the governor told the commissioner of police to ensure that they get to the root of whatever caused this murder, and he shouldn't be swept under the carpet. Bimbo was detained at the police station. While they were still trying to resolve that issue, the Minister of Agriculture was on her way to go give out fertilizers to certain farmers in a particular in the states where they had converged, and they were ambushed. Some people were killed, others were injured. She managed to escape and she ended up in the hospital. The Minister of Agriculture being Fathia Balogun, she played the role of Busola there, and the governor asked her to appear at the hospital to ask what happened and how everyone who was involved was faring. After, we see Femi Adebayo come into the picture as Uncle Wee or Wee, and he was at a phone store, Femtech. I'm wondering, Femtech must be really, maybe it has a relationship with them because I don't want to talk about it. But we see Mafeptech, he was trying to get a new Samsung device that he felt was great. And there he meets Bimbo Ademoye, who had just lost a husband to be, remind you, who happens to be, Femi Adebayo's colleague at work. And Bimbo approaches him that, oh, she was arrested, and everybody kept quiet, and everybody was accusing, the police were accusing her of murdering her husband, and why would she even murder him, this and that. And that she had put a call through to Uncle Dele, who hadn't, who didn't help her out, and she was trying to explain all of that. And Femi Adebayo was also trying to tell her that, well, the person you had reached out to help you was also dealing with his own mess and all. Well, he this offered to pay for what she had come to, buy. Also, she had come to fix her damaged phone. As that went, we saw that the governor decided that it was time for him to dissolve his cabinet and pick up new members to join the cabinet, except relieving the Minister of Agri's position. So the Minister of Agriculture still had a position to herself. She remained the minister, which is Fathia Balogun. And she was so excited. Shola Sobowale, the aggressive, ever-tempered, insecure wife, approached her husband that you dissolved the cabinet and you retained someone. Of all people, you retained a fair woman. A fair woman who is pretty. She is beautiful. Why did you retain her? And he was trying to make his wife understand that, well, she's capable, she's hardworking, she's working on a project currently. And he's like, what happened? She's like, what happened to the rest of the ministers? Are they all lazy? And she wasn't having any of it. She was insecure and she felt that he was trying to play a smart on her and he was cheating on her with the Minister of Agri. And she flared up. Yemi had to invite Muyiwa Ademola to his office to, get a second opinion on whether he needed to let the Minister of Agri go. And Muyiwa, trying to give a balance, decided to, defend both sides, both the governor and his wife's side, without trying to take sides with anyone in particular. And, trying to leave. That also made put the governor in a tight space. The governor told Femi Adebayo that he does not want the issue, the murder of Odunlade to just be swept under the carpet, and that he should make sure that the police are kept on their toes to find the murderers. All at that, we see that the governor's wife was at home, Her Excellency. She was at home and she was watching this podcast where Kiki was in charge of the show. I think the title of the podcast was Trending Issue or something. And we were talking about how a man and his wife, how a man went outside to, who a sales rep or something. I can't remember who it was, but somebody up below standards to him, and before they knew it, he got her pregnant. Few months after, he died, only for the will to be read, and then they realized that the new lady he had met, the side chick, was given 95% of the man's total assets, while the wife that had been with him all his life had little or nothing, and she eventually had to go beg the side chicks to give her out of the property or something. And because of that, Shola Sobowale, who actually is insecure, decided that hell no, she felt this was going to be her own story if she did not, if she didn't take up actions or if she didn't act fast. So, and the only person she could connect into that picture was the Minister of Agri. So she dashed out and she went straight to her husband's office. And lo and behold, guess who it was in her husband's office? The Minister of Agri, alongside her husband, the governor. And as usual, she caused a scene. After that, we see Femi Adebayo and Bimbo Ademoye go on a date. Should I call it a date? Oh, let's just say catching up. And Femi was trying to express or express his feelings towards her. And she felt like this is very strange. The person I just lost, my husband, happens to be your very close friend. And I'm still mourning. Why would you be expressing such a thing? And he said, oh, he's going to give her time, but she should know that he has interest in her. While like that, we eventually found out, oh, our Excellency's children told her, advised her that she should calm her nerves down and stop being insecure about the father, but she wasn't having any of it, and she flared up and she felt every other person was not in support of her. She felt she didn't have anyone on her side. Her mother also appealed to her. Mother, being Larry Azan, also appealed to her that she should take things easy and not get easily angered or insecure. But she also declined. She felt everybody didn't understand her and all of that. And she kept on creating a scene. A staff of Her Excellency Shola Sobowale brought over a friend to her, the friend being Aisha Lawal, who had a proposal she needed to pass to give to the government to fund, but Shola wasn't free that day to attend to it, and so she left in a hurry. And then we see that fertilizers were also given to the people of Salem State. So that's the name of the state, Salem State, and through the Minister of Agric. After which, after which, Shola continues with her anger and insecurities. And while at the table, the governor was dining with some important people, dignitaries, and she comes to, put out a show again. And then and there, the governor remembered or reminisced on something that happened years earlier when they were still young couples. While they had been at an event, they went to celebrate one of his staffs who had waited for God for a child for so long and eventually God blessed her with a child. And how his wife, while he rocked the baby, how the wife had assumed that because that the baby looked like a husband and had confronted him right on at that scene of the ceremony or the event, and had accused him of being the father of the child, while the governor had said, oh no, it's not the father of the child is outside the country, this and that. She kept on insisting that he was the father of the child. And she even she brought some very funny evidences, trying to calculate the date of the birth of the child by 9 months earlier, and putting it together and com- putting out a conviction that, oh, 9 months earlier was when the governor had traveled with the so-called staff who just had a baby, and that they had lodged in an hotel and all of that. As much as they tried to deny it, she wasn't having any of it. The whole naming ceremony was turned upside down because she wasn't having any of it. And before we knew it, she had smashed a vase on his head and he was bleeding. And you then remember that she has always been like that. And I guess he always felt that at some point in time, maybe as she grew older, she was going to change her ways or something, but she never did. So that was all of that made the governor decide that, oh, before then, Aisha was able to get through to the governor directly through the help of Femi Adebayo. She was able to present a proposal, and it was looked into and it was approved. While it was approved, the governor had also expressed his advances to Aisha that he would love to have, so he would love that she be his he would love if she can be his second wife. And she felt she needed to discuss it with her father, which she did. And here comes Oga Bello. Now she was expressing it to Oga Bello that the governor asked her to be his second wife. And Oga Bello felt, oh, it's a sweet and bitter experience, in the sense that it's a beautiful thing to be the wife of the governor, but it is also a bitter experience in the sense that the first wife is a temperamental one. She's easily angered, she's insecure, and I do not think you have the strength to battle with her. While they pondered all of that, the father also felt happy that, well, he was going to be the in-law to a governor. We see that Femi Adebayo works with Shola Sobowale, or more like an informant to Shola Sobowale, Her Excellency, giving her updates from time to time about her husband's movements and all of that. And here comes Shola confronting Femi again, asking him why. I'm sorry, confronting him that her husband must be having something with the minister of Agric, which is Fathia Balogun. And Femi insisted that no, nothing was going on between them. Mind you, the Minister of Agric is married. She has a husband, and obviously from the way the movie was painted, she's happily married. And so Femi says no, and Shola wasn't having any of it. And then Femi decided to let it out. She blackmailed him, and he let it out that, well, he wasn't having an affair with the Minister of Agric, but he had somebody else in the picture, which was Aisha. By the time he showed the Shola the picture, she remembered the lady had come to her office some time ago, and she went ahead to meet her staff who brought the lady to her office. And her staff acknowledged that, oh, yes, ma, I was on, I brought this lady to your office some time ago, and then I went when you were not responsive. I told Uncle Femi to help us get through to the governor, and Shola flared up again. And she said she almost hit something on this staff of ours. And she flared up, she was angry, and she fired the lady on the spot. However, the governor had decided to still go on with his wedding plans or preparation to his second wife, irrespective of whatever happens. The governor approved her proposal was at the second wife's event. Well, Shola was at home watching the video on TV, and she was so emotional and broken. Everything she had tried to guard is finally slipping off her hand. And she thought, okay, maybe she apologized to her husband and tried to be a calmer wife. Maybe he would rethink it and not marry somebody else. While he accepted her apology, he insisted that he was going to go ahead and get married either ways. And she flared up again and turned the whole house upside down. After that, Shola decided to set Aisha up, and which she successfully achieved. She set her up, and she tried to paint a scenario that Aisha was trafficking children and disabled people, and that she was only extorting money for the government. She really didn't have any NGO, or was not doing anything that was beneficial to the people, and so many other fabricated lies. Aisha got arrested by the police, and it was all over socials, and the governor felt embarrassed. Well, Aisha, on her own end, was heartbroken and was wondering who could have set her up and lied against her. She was also trying to read the governor. Governor wasn't responding. He felt embarrassed and sad and all of that. And Auntie Shola perfected her plan. She made it so real. Aisha was arrested. She was taken away alongside. In fact, Auntie Shola got people to testify against Aisha, in the sense that people testify to the fact that truly, truly they worked with Aisha and they trafficked people. While they were at that, Femi Adebayo remembered that the bracelet that was found at the police station was his at the crime scene, at the murder scene when Odunlade was murdered. And you remember they had taken a picture with Odunlade and one other man before his demise, and that if Bimbo gets to see the picture, she would obviously know he was the one that murdered Odun. I also didn't know he murdered Odun. I thought even if he was involved, he must have sent people. So he decided to call the phone shop or store where Bimbo went to fix her phone and decided to ask them, oh, when is she going to get her phone and all of that. And they said she was going to get it the next day. He said, oh, he wanted to make pay for it. They said she had paid and all of that. And he started brainstorming. If she ever finds this picture, it is done for him. So as the phone arrived the next day, Bimbo took up the phone that had been fixed, checked up the pictures, and then she went straight to the bracelet. And then she realized that Femi had the bracelet that the police confirmed while when her husband was murdered, and the police had assumed that she was the owner of the bracelet since it looked more feminine. Well, while she was at that, confirming that she got attacked and was almost strangled to death by, or I'm sorry, by a masked person. But luckily, the police came in before she was killed, and they were able to save her. And guess who was under the mask? It was Femi. Adebayo was trying to kill her. They got to the police station, and Bimbo was trying to explain that she suspected the first lady because of some shady information she had heard while her husband was alive. When he was conversing with the first lady, she never thought Femi Adebayo was the one involved. Well, Femi at the police station decided to unravel everything, that he killed Odunlade based on position because he felt Odunlade was more competent than him and he was going to be chosen over him for a particular to work with the governor, closely with the governor. So he decided to get him out of the way. And he also spoke about all the atrocities the first lady had committed, from framing up the second wife to the governor, to ambushing the Minister of Agriculture, to so many other things that she had done, the bad press about the governor, and all of that. He exposed everything and said they were all the works of the first lady. While the governor was still shocked, the commissioner of police needed the governor to make a quick decision. So he threw the question directly to the governor and asked the governor, what do we do about the first lady? Because she mustn't go scot-free. And obviously, we saw in the next scene that the first lady was arrested alongside Femi. It was a sad ending. And all of this could have been avoided, but based on insecurity, she felt insecure. She was hot-tempered. She didn't know when how to manage her emotions. I felt those were the things that ruined her and also ruined her husband's administration and their home in totality, their kids and all. But yeah, overall, I feel it's a good movie. Excellency is a good movie. You really need to go see it. You see Auntie Shola in action. If you've watched any of Auntie Shola's movie before, you know how energetic she is with her movies. How she, she brings in this ginger, this vibe and all. So you all need to go see Excellency. I think it's showing on. I'm not sure where it's showing on. I don't know if it's showing on Netflix or Cover or something, but I knew it was in the cinema earlier this year. But you all need to go see it. It's a beautiful movie and it's worth the time. It's worth the watch. So thank you for staying till this point, and please like, please share, please subscribe, comment. What do you think about the movie? What are your faves? What do you think in general? Please let me know in the comment section. And till next time, bye. Go stream a Excellency.